Okay, this is going to be, if I can get the camera right, this is going to be another book report. The book we're talking about is Adam Grant, Think Again. I was listening to the podcast of Adam Grant for a while, and I think it's really, really good. He's an organizational psychologist. I love psychologists who kind of get out in the world and explain to the normal people how people work, because that's super, super helpful. I found this book by accident, and I was in a bookstore because I had to pick up a couple of books for my daughter, and then there it was. Even in Germany, they had this as an English version, so I bought it. One of the really cool things that he starts to introduce is the Dunning-Kruger effect and the imposter syndrome. So both of these effects I have explained previously on my channel. In German though, I think YouTube translates that for you. I think the imposter syndrome and the Dunning-Kruger effect are two effects that you absolutely should know. Obviously this book is about rethinking things, about being wrong, about putting your opinion out there or your knowledge, and then somebody comes in, proves you wrong. What I really liked is that he talks a lot about getting comfortable with being wrong. He explains a lot about how forecasts work. I found that very, very interesting. Like, he showed that some keep adjusting their opinion, like they incorporate new data and then they change their mind. And you might know people who stick with the first opinion they ever had without looking at any other data that they get along the way. They end up being wrong, dramatically wrong. It's just so interesting how he explains the process of changing your mind. Adam talks a lot about agreeableness. This is something I personally have struggled so much with. I'm working in a corporate setting. When I'm in a meeting and there are some opinions, I am not the personality to jump in and say, "You're wrong, that's not right." I always tend to agree with people just so that we don't have an argument, and that's stupid. Arguments per se are not a bad thing. I heard a lot of people in our company saying, "Yeah, we fight a lot and that's good." So that's the other side. You also shouldn't fight for the sake of fighting, but you also shouldn't agree for the sake of being liked by others. Adam explains that very intensely with a lot of examples. Once you're through them, you're like, yeah, I'm doing that. One or the other side, whichever one of these two you are, you're like, oh, okay, you absolutely get it. Once you are through that chapter of agreeableness or disagreeing for the sake of, you absolutely get the point and you will never go back to it. I really love how this book is not black and white. Like, he talks about the binary bias, because that's what we often do. I have that at work so many times, but I also have that in my private settings when I talk to family, when I talk to friends, that people make it black and white. One point that I loved about this book is how Adam pointed out that there is a range of perspectives you can have, like at least 6, 7, or 8 perspectives for each topic. There is not just for or against. There's like a lot of little things along the way. I also love how he introduces how to think critically. For example, that you should interrogate information and not just simply consuming it. When you get a piece of information, do not just swallow it and use it. Think about it. Like, what does that mean? Where does it come from? Can that even be true? And also understand that the sender of this information very often is not the original source. So the whole point of this book is basically to rethink things that you know. Even when you think, I'm at a certain level, I know everything about this topic, that you are open for additional information and that you're absolutely allowed to change your mind once you have enough information to do so. I just love this book. This helped me so much. For a long time in my life, I struggled to have opinions about things. I had a boss who basically forced me to have opinions. Like, he would call me in his office and said, "Natalie, what is your opinion about this?" And I was like, so this person says this and this person says this. I just repeated facts or things I know about the thing, but he wanted me to have an opinion. He's like, "But what do you think?" At that moment I realized I don't think anything about it, because I did not dare to have an opinion. Since then, I tried to form an opinion, and I still have to push myself to do it. For many topics, I have to go in and say, what do I think about it? What if I am the decision maker of this situation? If I have to do something with it, what do I do? I put myself in the role of being responsible for the whole thing. What is my opinion? What are the consequences? So, and then there's obviously also the whole topic with being wrong, making mistakes. That is just part of life. And Adam really makes a big effort, and I think reading this book brings you a lot closer to being comfortable with being wrong, comfortable with making mistakes. You go in a situation and you know, it's very likely that I fail. It's very likely that I go out of it and I will not be successful, and you do it anyway, like applying for a job. I have a video on this channel where I'm talking about where I applied and I kind of knew I would not get it, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. You go in and you know you very likely fail, but you get comfortable with it and then you learn out of it. Lots of things to learn. So listen to the podcast, read the book. It's really good. I hope you enjoyed it as much. I hope you got a good overview of the book. I absolutely recommend it. And I hope you like it as much as I did. Have a good day.